Today's topic is going to be involving something with a distinguished panelist, Darnell Johnson, a U.S. Army Staff Sergeant, veteran, and CEO, President of Urban Efficiency Group, UEG, Illinois' first Native minority-owned utility implementation and sustainability design firm, and Eco Network and energy equity economic opportunities is a topic of discussion. And Cliff, it sounds like I need to have Darnell come to my home right after this show because it sounds like he's on top of it.
It sure does, Colonel. I mean, my goodness. David, when I was reading his background, I'm thinking, my goodness, I feel the same way you do. Dr. Arnold is, of course, knows what this gentleman is going to tell us, and
yes,
it's going to be great. I just think when you're talking about urban efficiency, and of course, August, as you know, we've mentioned is National Wellness Month.
Yes,
we want to remember that, right, Doc?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone needs to take care of their health is number one priority.
That's right. That's exactly right. And
so Darnell,
we can't mention that too much.
No.
But our guest is really something. What he has done and is doing.
That's a major accomplishment. Yeah.
It is. Why don't you mentioned it? Why don't you introduce him?
Oh, you go ahead. Yeah, Darnell Johnson. Why don't you give us an idea of this? First of all, thank you for your service. You're in the right branch, the Army. No, I can't say that because there are too many listeners who are in other branches, and I'll get all kinds of hate mail. but Darnell, Darnell, tell us about what this is about the Eco Network.
Sure. First of all, let me say thanks to Mr. Kelly and to you, Colonel, and to all of the to Glenda and to everybody on the team for the opportunity to be able to share just a glimpse of the work that we're doing.
Thank you.
So, you're more than welcome. Thank you for having me. Urban Efficiency Group, we, as previously mentioned, we are an implementation, a utility implementation and urban sustainability design firm. So basically what we do is we work with municipalities and under-resourced communities to bring in end-to-end strategies that ultimately transforms those communities to more sustainable, resilient places to live. And a portion of that is definitely around energy efficiency, making homes more energy efficient to reduce the overall consumption of utilities and energy. But also, you guys are talking about National Health Month and, Wellness Month, and that's a part of urban sustainability, is to make sure that we're able to address things that are contributing to the social determinants of health, right? And being able to address those things from a place of green and resiliency. And so when we go in and work with municipalities and communities, we're coming in to identify areas that we can help those communities be more resilient, whether it's through community solar, energy efficiency, walking paths, biking paths, urban agriculture, community gardens, and farmers markets to address the food insecurities, water conservation efforts. So we come in and we ultimately look at everything that's going on in that community, and then making sure that the community is aware of the economic opportunities that the energy industry offers. Previously mentioned, the energy industry is home to over 160,000 jobs in the state of Illinois, and out of those 160,000 jobs, 60% of those green jobs are in Cook County, but we, as communities of color, are less than 10% represented in that workforce. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing those workforce opportunities and those small business opportunities to these communities as well.
Wow.
I just think it's great what you're doing. This whole idea of Eco Network, this is a newly launched coalition of stakeholders with a commitment to urban sustainability and a benevolence to leverage their social capital and to actualize it. And what you're doing is just tell us more about the energy equity.
Sure. So and these two kind of work together. So let me just high level the Eco Network really quickly.
Yeah.
The Eco Network, as you said, Cliff, is a coalition of partners that have an interest in overall sustainability. So we have, health departments that are working alongside of us. We have, various types of entities, whether it be municipalities and other faith and community-based organizations. Everyone brings their individual social capital to a coalition, and everybody's working towards making sure that these under-resourced communities are receiving the services that would allow them to be more sustainable over time, making sure that these homes are more energy efficient. And right now, there's very few of these types of coalitions that are being driven by veterans and by minorities that can speak to the issues that are needed in our communities. So we're taking that united front to say, hey, we want to make sure that people are aware that we're on the front lines, that we're working together, and that we're bringing the resources to the table so that we can all create a more sustainable, existence. And then the energy equity component of that is right now, as I previously mentioned, there are disproportionate representations of minorities within the energy efficiency industry. And so now we are starting our first training cohort September the 7th, where we are covering the cost, for this national certification. And then once the training is completed, providing that they're successful, we have minority-owned energy efficiency companies that are ready to hire these folks and put them to work, starting out between $15 and $22 an hour. So the energy equity component is really about making sure that we're building a diverse workforce of folks that live in these communities that are under-resourced so that they can earn a living wage and then also be able to deliver a service that is needed in these communities. And so this is a great platform to let folks know that we're hiring. We have living wage jobs that are actually careers, and the actual cost associated with this training is deferred. So once they go through the vetting process and they're selected, they don't pay anything out of pocket. The three things that we're really focusing on is what we call the 3 A's, which are the 3 A's that we look at as the barriers to energy equity, and that is access. People have to have access to the opportunities. They have to be aware of the opportunities. And, of course, the demand is driven by affordability. So if it's affordable for them, they know about it, and they can get to it, then we can start to see more folks that look like us in these different spaces.
Oh, fantastic.
No kidding. I think it's just great.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Doc.
So if anyone wants to call in, we have an open line for questions, 773-591-1690, 773-591-1690. And, one of the things that there are probably some myths or some missed ideas out there that should not be floating around about the Eco Network and how green ecology works. But one of the things is like it's so expensive, and then the other one is solar okay in Illinois because we have snow during the winter. Maybe you can talk to that a little bit about the solar power and about that.
Sure, absolutely, Doc. So, you're right. There are a lot of myths out there. And, when you start looking at energy efficiency, it can get pricey. That's the reason why we bring this coalition together. So there are different programs. Like prime example is, we're working with the Cook County Department of Public Health. They have a program called the LED program. Many people are not aware, and this goes back to that whole health factor, is that, when children are exposed to lead under the age of 6, it has a direct impact on their cognitive ability to learn, their attention deficit disorders. There are a lot of other things that only continue to get increasingly worse. Once a child has been exposed to lead, there is no reversing it. The only thing that you can do is minimize that exposure going forward. So the Cook County Department of Public Health is one of our partners, and they will come in, and if there's a child in the house under the age of 6 or a pregnant woman in the home, they will come in and do a complete assessment of their home. If they identify that there's lead in the home, wherever the lead is located, they will remediate it at no cost to the homeowner. So if they have lead around their windows, they'll put in brand new energy efficient windows. If they have lead found in their siding of their home, because some of these homes are older and there's lead in like the siding, they will put new siding, vinyl siding on that home. If they also do, soil samples, because, children play in their yards and they're putting their hands in the dirt and putting their hands in their mouths, so they'll do a soil sampling as well to make sure that there's no lead in the soil. So these are the types of partners that we have as a part of the Eco Network. And to your point, energy efficiency, we are now bringing these various partners to the table so we can drive affordability so that it's not so expensive on the individual homeowner. You spoke about, community solar, and that's more of around the renewable energy. And solar is a great option, right? Again, if you can afford it. So we're working with different partners to bring community solar options to the community to make solar more affordable to the everyday end user. And the services that we're bringing to the table as well, that these technicians will be, that when I mentioned the workforce development opportunity, what they'll be trained to do is to actually deliver, energy efficiency upgrades, coming and perform energy audits on a home or on a business, increasing the attic insulation to make sure that those houses are warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer, and they're not spending more money to achieve that level of comfort. We're going in and we're looking at checking furnaces and hot water tanks to make sure that they're not emitting too much carbon monoxide, and if they are, we're putting brand new high efficiency furnaces in these folks' homes at no cost to the homeowner. So there's a lot of great programs that are out there. We want to make sure that folks are aware of it, that they are gaining access to it, and that we're making it affordable for them.
Yeah, and
what you're doing is amazing. I just think it's great. Many of the things that you mentioned, of course, I have heard of before. I've heard of the problem, that is. I didn't hear anybody coming forward talking about they were going to fix it like you are. But, that they didn't talk about. They just they mentioned the problem, which, obviously is there, and it costs a lot to fix it. But, this is just a great thing you've got going.
Absolutely. And Cliff, the other thing I want to highlight is, one of the things, and going back to Doc, your question about myths, right? One of the biggest myths that are out there right now is that people misunderstand how inclusive the word urban sustainability is. Urban sustainability is not one singular action. It's a multitude. It's a combination of things that happens within a community to make that community sustainable, right? And that deals with equity, resiliency, climate protection. And one of the things that I want to really get out there is that we're starting now to work with a lot of our, under-resourced communities, mayors that are Black and brown mayors that are now saying we want to know more about what it means to be an urban sustainable community, right? And we're taking that time now to work with them. And on next Friday, August the 21st, we are launching the first municipal partners of the Eco Network. They're actually making their official announcement. The Village of Burnham, Mayor Robert Polk out of Burnham, Illinois, they are going, taking their community in the direction of an eco community, and they're making their official announcement on next Friday. So we're really excited about that. And there are more mayors that will be in attendance, and more mayors that are now already calling us to say, hey, come and have some consultations with us. We'll know what it takes to be able to achieve these goals. And even for the municipalities, we're offering our urban sustainability services at no cost to these under-resourced communities, because many times they don't have sustainability officers that can do this for them. So they need support from other entities that will be able to bring that type of support into them, so that they do know about it, know what the benefits are to the community, and know how to take advantage of it. And so we're working now with a growing group of mayors to be able to start seeing more adoption around urban sustainability in our under-resourced communities.
Fantastic. I mean, this is just
Isn't that
amazing.
Great? Yeah.
But where do people get more information from? I'm going to ask you again, but just to give it a couple of times, where would people go? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also where that event's going to be, because we need to make sure people know about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, if people are interested in wanting to get more information about what we're doing, they can definitely go to our website, and that is econetworkproject.com, econetworkproject.com. And they can get, or they can go to our website, which will take them ultimately. As a matter of fact, they will probably be better served if they go to urbanefficiency.group.com, www.urbanefficiency.group.com. And they will be able to then link to all of the different services and the things that we're doing in the community. The event on next Friday is going to be held at the Burnham Community Center and that's located at 14020 South Torrance Avenue, and that's in Burnham, Illinois. And we will be, we will definitely be there on next Friday from 12 to 2. And then, we have folks from President Preckwinkle's office that the president's office will be represented. Different county agencies will be there to support this community in this great undertaking, as well as about 7 to 10 mayors throughout the Southland and the western suburbs, mayors that are also preparing themselves to start taking this same journey, along with a lot of other community stakeholders and partners. So that's going to be really exciting. And again, that's going to be at 14020 South Torrance Avenue on August the 21st.
Oh, fantastic. One other question I have for you is really, it's related to this. Is, you're talking about the eco-environment and that kind of thing, and this has a very, very strong connection to our educational system with STEM, and now it's STEAM.
Yes.
Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And so what do you think the future is going to hold for these jobs? Do we need to start talking about the education in our community as well?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And it's ironic that you say that. If they go to www.urbanefficiency.group.com, they will find there that one of the things that we're rolling out towards the end of this year, and it's been a little bit delayed in light of the COVID-19 climate, but we have something called G2 that we're rolling out, Doc, and that G2 stands for the Green Generation. And ultimately what that is, it is an intergenerational advocacy for urban sustainability. So we're starting to work with our high school students and our middle school students to begin to empower them with the understanding of why this is so important, right? One of the things that and I want to say this, I hopefully got a couple minutes to put this out there. One of the things that, I want people to understand about this health thing and energy efficiency is that because of the poor indoor air quality that exists within these homes, many times these older homes, the things that is going on in those homes are triggers for asthma, right? So you have a higher percentage of kids that are struggling with asthma because of what we call the sick home syndrome, things that are going on in the home. Dust particles. Dust is actually a developmental cause of asthma. So as we're talking about health again, Cook County is the #1 county in the country for reported asthma among children and seniors. So as we're now educating our youth on why energy efficiency and urban sustainability is so important, by educating them, we leverage that as a service learning initiative, a STEM initiative, so they can learn more about energy and energy efficiency and renewable energy. And then they become the advocates when we have these national conferences so that they can begin to speak, somewhat like Greta Thunberg is doing from Sweden, where she's going around the globe talking about climate change. Well, we have to start investing in our, communities and our kids and students as well, so that they understand the direct impact that this poor indoor air quality has on, communities of color. And the more we empower them, the more they can become advocates and even begin to pursue careers in physics and science so that they can begin to help, the future sustainability of these urban communities. So, education is hugely important, and that's one of the things that we have targeted to make sure that we're passing that information, empowering the next generation, and it's called the G2, which is the Green Generation.
That is fantastic, because, Englewood has 6 times the national average, for childhood asthma. And it's just really absolutely incredible that we haven't addressed it in a better way than we have, knowing that that's going on. And it also the environment with, companies have a tendency to gravitate towards lower tax-based land, and they have a tendency to be in our impoverished communities more. And so we're being exposed to those kinds of things as well. But you are just doing a phenomenal job